I'm living for the developers who are focused on bringing the 80s retro arcade platformer games back to life in the modern era of gaming, and producing games that look really simple on the surface but have challenge and require skill and adeptitude, memorization, and just getting good at something over the course of time. And that's what can be said for Freddy Farmer. I bought this on PC. It's coming to PlayStation on the 2nd of May. And the idea behind this is that you play as Freddy Farmer, who's had his daughter kidnapped, and the only way to get her back is to help the magical witch, who is after 5 ingredients in each level that must be collected in a specific order and then dropped at the end into the magic cauldron that ignites once you've collected all 5 ingredients. The key with all of this is that the ingredients have to be collected in the exact order that's displayed on the screen. The game will progress if you do it in any other order, but when you get to the game level completion screen, Freddy Farmer just bursts into tears because you've not done it in the right order, therefore the witch can't do the right potion. And when you get to the final world, the witch goes, I can't do it, you've done it all wrong. And you'll have to go back to the levels that you didn't get the ingredients in the right order again to therefore try and do it properly this time around. And that's the key crux behind it, because every time you go into a level, and there's 5 worlds with 7 levels in each, although in normal mode you only have to do 5 in a row. And although the level layout is the same and the enemies that will be on the screen will be the same, the position of the different ingredients that you need to pick up will be randomised. And so some will be right next to you, some might be up in a corner, some might be hanging off a wall. And you've got to work out how to traverse your way there within a 3-minute time limit to collect all of the different pieces and then make your way back to the cauldron. Now that 3-minute time limit doesn't really become so much of an issue, but it's kind of mentally in the back of your brain going, it's counting down. Because I found that I died the most when I took too many chances and rushed myself through the game. But actually the 3-minute time limit is ample time to be able to navigate round, as long as you've got enough skill to do it. And what you're busy looking out for is A, what are the different enemies doing and what their patterns are and how can you take advantage of that. And knowing exactly when to go for something and when not to. Because Freddy Farmer is totally defenceless. He can only jump over a few things to avoid either a goblin firing an arrow, or some of the different animals are quite small so that you can kind of jump over them and avoid them and score some points that way. But as you progress through the game and you start getting ogres and beasts and knights and witches flying around on broomsticks, you can't avoid those. And so it's working out how and when to break through their patterns and get past them as best as possible. And my only kind of big critique of Freddy Farmer is sometimes you're placed into situations where you just can't win and you'll lose a life and die. And that feels a little bit too on the nose RNG for me. And the reason why this becomes a problem is that Freddy Farmer's life system is quite old school. You get given 3 lives and you need to make those 3 lives last throughout all of the levels in a specific world. Now in normal mode you get 5 levels consecutively that you'll need to get the ingredients in the right order in order to clear them properly, and then make sure that you've still got enough lives to do all 5 levels, and then you get taken back to the world menu to do it again. But in hard mode you've then got 7 levels to deal with. There's a 3rd difficulty that I've not unlocked yet, which I think adds another one on, and it's quite difficult to make sure that you've still got lives for the later stages when you're dropped into things that have got lots of RNG elements, where just because of the enemy placement and timing of it all, you might be dropped in a place where you're just boxed in and you have no choice but to die. And that feels somewhat of a shame and a bit unfair. Whereas everything else in Freddy Farmer feels very fair. You get infinite continues, thank God, because otherwise you'd only seen the first couple of worlds of this game and that would have been it. So that helps you get good over time and feel much better and confident about your actions. But also the platforming movement and the exactness of Freddy Farmer's movements and the collision detection and just the way how everything's set up works consistently, and it doesn't surprise you in any way. Everything here is absolutely solid. And when I died, I knew it was my fault, not the game's fault. Except for when it dropped you into a place where you was boxed in. So it's just that blight on the game. kind of causes a problem, and it makes you feel a bit more sour about the game, probably disproportionately more than what it should do, because it's such a tightly wound experience that works so well except for that one element that then becomes really crucial late in the game when you're only allowed to reach the end boss when you've perfected all of the other levels beforehand. But if you enjoy your retro challenges and your 80s arcade action games, get Freddy Farmer on your list, and I think you'll have an absolute blast with it. Just remember to take deep breaths when it box you in on something that you can't escape from. Freddy Farmer, out now on PC and coming to PlayStation on the 2nd of May.